Welcome back, and if you made it past the intro and clicked on this, you are awesome, and thank you. If you just clicked on this straight away and skipped the intro, I'm glad you did that too. But this podcast, we're going to be talking about my workouts and what I'm actually going to be doing physically in terms of in the gym, and philosophy about kind of why I'm choosing to do what I'm doing. As I mentioned in the intro, I am a PT, so I do have a knowledge base of the human anatomy and how it works and how it develops and gains strength and loses strength and mobility. So I'm going to be using all that knowledge as best I can to improve my own physical health. So really in the gym, my main goals, we really got to start there. What are your goals? And anytime you're developing a program, you want to begin with the end in mind and think, what do I want to get out of this? I'm trying to gain some muscle. I'm trying to burn fat. So I'm going to go through like a fat burning phase of trying to lose weight, but then also at the same time, try to gain some muscle mass. In the workout world, that's kind of one of those, you have to either pick one or the other. Typically, are you burning fat, losing weight, or are you gaining muscle? Because one of the myths is you really can't gain muscle and lose weight at the same time, because if you're gaining muscle, you're gaining weight, but you can also be burning fat at the same time. So it can be done, albeit very difficult, but that's kind of the route I'm choosing to go because I want to do both at the same time, because this is kind of a whole lifestyle change. If I want to do all this at once, I want to be eating a diet and working out in a way that I'm burning fat, but I'm also producing muscle mass at the same time. So really, if my weight kind of stagnates, but my body goes through the appropriate change, I'm satisfied with that. So my main goals are to, gain some muscle mass in the gym. That's really where the gym focus is gaining muscle mass, gaining strength, improving my mobility that way. Mobility is not the word, but you know what I mean? My strength, stability, all that good stuff. Right now I just kind of feel soft and weak. So that's what I want to improve in the gym. The fat loss part does come with burning calories in the gym, but that's also going to be in the nutrition, which is going to be a separate podcast altogether, where we talk about how we're going to be, limiting calories, and, the workouts also burn calories. So it all kind of plays together. But when it comes to workouts, I've kind of separated it into really a 3-day workout plan that I'm going to repeat, basically do it twice a week. So it's a 6-day workout with a 1-day rest. So I've labeled each day like a certain body section of what I'm working on. So I kind of want to touch briefly on each of those. So I'll go through a week. Like a Monday would be more like my chest and back exercises. So that's going to be like the bench presses, all that stuff. Back, like the lat pull downs, that kind of stuff. Sorry if I get quiet. Every so often I realize I turn my head away from the mic, and that's where I am a podcast rookie. So I will try to keep talking to the mic. Sorry. So kind of chest and back. That's really where the focus is going to be on the exercises. But with each exercise, I'm going to do a couple different abdominal exercises in everyday programs. So there's going to be some, abdominal workout in each day. And then there's also going to be a leg exercise, a different couple leg exercise in each of my day. Because what I've learned, I've actually been working out for about a month and a half, and a lot of it's been a learning experience of what my body can tolerate, what appropriate sets and reps and weights I should be doing that my body can recover well from. And I learned that my body does not recover well from full leg workouts. Like if I do a full leg workout on a Monday, my legs are just done for the rest of the week. I can't do anything. I have a hard time walking, going up and down stairs. Mm-hmm. So I decided I'm going to kind of sprinkle leg exercises in pretty much every day, maybe every other day, kind of depends on how things progress. Each day is like Monday, chest, back, with an ab workout, with at least 1 to maybe 2 leg exercises included in that. And then like Tuesday would be my biceps and triceps. Wednesday would be delts, dedicating a whole day to deltoids, because there's anterior, lateral, and posterior, front, middle, back. Easiest way to break that down. I can do a full-on workout with that. And then there's different carryover. So like if you're working triceps, you're also going to be working chest a little bit with some things. Biceps, you're working your back a little bit. Some of that all works together. But I'm picking exercises where, on bicep and tricep day, that's the primary mover of the exercise for the most part. But there's going to be carryover. There always is. But that's kind of like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then just repeat it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, because that way I've got a few days to recover in between each one. and then Sunday's a full rest day. The thing with the exercises that is challenging is I'm actually going to be doing really light weights and doing anywhere from 3 up to 5 sets on each. But I'm going really slow with these. I'm not just going to be punching through reps really fast. I'm not doing short reps. I'm doing full range of motion repetitions. An example would be bench press. That's an easy one where you bring the bar all the way down to your chest, touch your chest, pause a sec, push it up. I call it like a 6-second rep where I usually take, on for example, the bench press, 4 seconds to lower the bar to my chest, and then 2 seconds to push it up. Usually with the pause at the bottom, so you can call it the 7-second rep if you want. 6 is the magic number, man. If you get the reference, we can be friends. But yeah, so slow repetitions, full range of motion. What you find when you do that is you really got to check your ego at the door, because then a 5-pound weight all of a sudden just feels like 500 after you do 15 repetitions. I mean, for example, I've done bench press and I'm benching like 65 pounds. Like 65 pounds is laughable. But you do 20 repetitions at 6 to 7 seconds each repetition. By 20, your chest is about to fall off the bone. It's just ridiculous how much more challenging that is to the muscle. But there's a scientific reason for that too, though. When we're talking about growing muscle mass, muscles hypertrophy or grow better when you put them under a load in a stretch position. So going through that full range, full stretch, putting it under tension, nice and slow and controlled, and then pushing it back up. When you load that muscle in a stretch position, it really facilitates more activation and more growth of that muscle. So that's what I want to do. That's what the science points to. I'm doing that. The downside is when you're in the gym and you're bench pressing 65 pounds, you look like an absolute dork, for lack of a better word. You know, the guy comes behind you and he stacks on like 2 plates on each side. He's doing like 150, 200 pounds or something. But he's punching out like half reps. He's not even touching his chest, not even coming halfway to his chest. And he's kind of pumping them through up and down really fast, doing like a partial rep. Now there is a place for partial reps. If you're like a bodybuilder or somebody that's more into weightlifting, more heavy duty weightlifting, there is a place for like what's called a partial rep. I'm not doing partial reps. I'm a beginner. I'm an amateur. I'm wanting to do full range, nice light weights, controlled motion. If I go too heavy on weight too early, I'm going to risk injury. I'm going to just depress myself because it's way too heavy. So yeah, I really got to check my ego at the door when it comes to these exercises. That's what I've learned. You know, you see other people come in and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's really light." It's like, well, yeah, we'll do it this way, and you'll feel the difference. Trust me. So when I'm doing a workout, it's the other thing is like, well, how many do you do? I know my daughters came with me to the gym once. She's like, well, how many am I supposed to do? I'm like, well, you go until you practically can't do any more. But the term they use that I've run across a lot is called reps in reserve, or called RIR. So if you ever see any of my exercise stuff showing up on YouTube, then it might say RIR next to it. That's reps in reserve. What that means, it's very subjective, but if you're doing exercises and you're getting up to say 15 and I feel like, man, 15 is getting really hard and I don't know if I can do another one. Oh, I managed to do another one. And I might rack it at 16 and I might think, man, I probably could have pushed out 1 to 2 more, but that's it. I might put down a 2 for RIR. Man, I had 2 more in the bank, but I still got 2 more sets to do. I'm going to rest for another minute or so and then I'm going to go back at it. Scientifically, what they've done on some research with that is showed that for most efficient muscle growth, the real debate goes between going to full failure, going as many reps as you can till you can't do any more, or doing what, you have a certain number of reps in reserve. The RIR that's usually pretty good is somewhere between 1 to 4. If you get to where you can do maybe 3 to 4 is kind of debatable. That's good. You're still getting that benefit versus going to full failure. I know there's a lot of people that are like, full failure, go to full failure where you can't do any more. Yeah, that's good, but then there's also science that shows, if you go, man, you still could have punched out 2 more, but you're going to rack the weight and then rest a minute and go back at it again. You're still going to see the benefit. You're still going to make gains. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going to go, usually the first couple of sets, I'm going to try to leave anywhere from 2 to 4 reps in reserve. And then my last set, I'm usually trying to go to failure if I can. I might stop if I'm just not able to get there, or if I'm just like, screw this, I'm done, I'm tired, and I want to go home. I'll just leave 2 more in the bank and then I'll hit it next time. But usually that last set, I want to try to maybe take it to failure if I can. So that's kind of what you might see with RIR. And that's the different concept I've always remember, going through sports and working out. It was always, you just push it till you can't push it anymore. And then, try to get that last rep out. And if you can't, well, that's what you got a spotter for. They spot you and you're good. But when you're on your own and you're doing light weights, you're usually pretty safe. So I always just keep in mind that RIR. Rep range, the science on that, you can see gains as doing anywhere as low as 5 to 8 reps, upwards of 30 reps. It doesn't matter. As long as you're in that reps in reserve range, that's why if you do lightweight, but you do 20 repetitions, and then at 21, you're like, I don't know if I can do 21 or 22. I'm kind of hitting my limit at 20. You're making almost as much gain as if I had put more weight on there and only did 8 repetitions. You're still seeing strength benefits. You're still seeing muscle gains doing it that way. So I guess in a way, my exercise is trying to show that I can build muscle mass and I can build strength by doing lighter weights by doing lighter weights in a certain way. It's not just punching out 20 reps of light weights. That's nothing. But if you do it slow, do it controlled, and you're doing the repetitions to where it's challenging your muscle tissue, then you're going to make gains. And that's what I'm looking at, and why I'm going to be doing what I'm doing. So if you see certain numbers, it's like, oh, that's how he's exercising. That makes sense. And I like that. I want to try to adapt kind of that kind of system or protocol. Well, then if you're on YouTube, man, drop a comment. And if there's something I can do to help with that, then I'd be more than glad to do so. Or I'm going to be probably sharing my exercise logs on there so you can kind of see the progression. I have an Excel spreadsheet that I'm documenting all this stuff. So I'm documenting my exercises and my reps and my weights and my RIRs and all that stuff. And I'm also documenting my nutrition, which I'll probably talk about that more in that section. But yeah, I'm documenting all this on a spreadsheet. So it's just another way for me to track what I'm doing and how it's affecting me, and to make sure that I'm being efficient and effective in my approach. Hopefully it's one of those that as I go on and do it more, it becomes, repetitive to me, to where I just kind of do it, where it's not something I have to think about. I don't have to think about, I better go write my exercises on the Excel spreadsheet. But for now, it really helps hold me accountable. So it's just another kind of check in the box to keep me accountable. In addition to the podcast, this helps keep me accountable too, because I'm like, I got to do a podcast this week. I haven't really worked out. I'm a slacker. So it's just another kind of accountability check for me as well. So with exercise, that's kind of where I'm looking at. I'm going to be doing 3 different kind of days of exercises that I'm going to repeat. So that's 6 days of exercise out of the week. Hopefully that works, depending on weather and sicknesses and travel, because we got some other things coming up, where we might not be able to make it to the gym. So I do need to maybe come up with a plan for off days like that, where I'm unavailable to get to the gym. What can I do at home to kind of help supplement days that I can't be at a gym? That's something I guess I really haven't dove into too much right now. But right now, we go to the Y, we work out, we do that. My wife likes to go to the sauna and that kind of stuff. So, each day when I go after the exercise, if I got time, I might go sit in a sauna. One thing I will not do is like a cold shower. And you may see some people talk about cold showering and stuff like that. Well, I'm not going to be cold showering now anyway. What I've learned about that, because I've heard people talk about it, people in the sauna talk about everything all the time. It's kind of crazy. My wife's got a group of her sauna friends, and she gets all the local gossip in that place. It's ridiculous. So if you want local gossip of your town, find a sauna, chat up whoever's in there. It's crazy what people will tell you. But they were talking about cold showers, and I started looking into it. And it makes sense that after you do an exercise, after you exercise, your body has blood circulating through. That's kind of like an inflammatory process that's going on to rebuild muscle tissue. If you cold shower right after that, you're going to kind of stunt that process. And you want that process to build the strength back, to build your muscle back. So cold showering right after that exercise, not necessarily a good idea, because it kind of hinders the process that your body's wanting to go through to help rebuild. But are some health benefits to cold showering and doing kind of stuff like that. And there's differences, like cold shower versus like full submersion into like an ice bath. That's something you definitely wouldn't want to do after an exercise, because that's hitting your whole body up systemically through a submersion, and that's going to really stunt the process of muscle growth. But if you did it like first thing in the morning, you wake up, do a cold shower, there's definitely some different benefits to that, I think. But immediately post-exercise, no. Now, if you're, say, like a professional athlete or a pitcher or somebody who, you just had a game where you threw 7 innings and your shoulder's just absolutely on fire, yeah, submerge that arm in some ice bath. That'll help kind of reduce the inflammatory process that's happening based on the athletic activity that you perform. So are there times that it's beneficial? Yes. But for me, like a post-exercise ice bath, not happening. A post-exercise ice shower, also not happening. A post-exercise sauna visit, sure. If I got time and I'm able to, then yeah, that's just helping increase that circulation. So there's no, what's the word I want to say? There's no reason that you should not be able to do that after exercising. So that kind of gives you an idea of what I'm going to be doing with my workouts and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I appreciate you hanging out for as long as you made it. And if you made it this far, you are a champ, and I love you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.